always thought all nurses were alike. They come in, they take your blood pressure, they take your temperature, they smile. I just thought a nurse was a nurse.
Now open your little mouth.
And then I got breast cancer. I had a surgeon who fixed me, an oncologist who decided what chemotherapy I was going to get. I had a radiologist who decided I was going to get zapped with radiation. But somebody had to put a mask on and wheel the chemotherapy through that door and stick it in the port that was in my chest. And that was a nurse. She was the one who got me through it. So in 2012, when I was asked to make a book that celebrates nurses, I started with Joanne. I spent a year photographing and interviewing over 100 nurses all across the country. Helicopter nurses, ER nurses, pediatric nurses, military nurses, school nurses. I got a glimpse into the world of nursing, and it was nothing like I expected. So I decided to dig deeper, to follow 5 nurses from the book and find out more. I wanted to know, what does nursing look like for soldiers coming back from war? For inmates in our prison system? For people living in one of the poorest parts of the country? What does it look like at birth and at the end of life? And who are the people that can do this incredibly intimate work?
Baby boy was born at 10:35. She's done with her postpartum PIT. Okay. She just has D5-LR at 125 running. She has her Foley still in. She has an epidural with 8, 5, 20, and 3. Fentanyl bupivacaine at 5 micrograms. A lot of people just think, oh, you just deliver babies. But we are cross-trained to all the different departments within labor and delivery. We're also trained in the OR. We are actually scrub techs. All right, so what you're gonna do is you are just gonna take this and you're gonna change. Okay. Other nurses in other departments are like, I can't do that. There's so much body fluids and screaming, and a lot of people can't handle that. And I think it takes a certain kind of nurse to be able to have those nerves to calm people and push through it and be able to stand up and say, we're going to do this together and we have to get this done, and you're going to be able to do it. So the more you push like this, the more open your spine is, the easier it is to get over. The more I curl? Yes, the more you curl over your baby.
Okay. Are you ready? A little bit of numbing medicine here.
Okay. So
ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Stick and a burn.
Stick and a burn.
Sorry,
Yeah,
this is
I'm not leaving you. I'm not leaving you. Some more stick and a burn, okay? You're doing great. Just keep breathing with me. In through your nose, out through your mouth, and just try to relax, okay?
Yeah. There'll be a little pressure here. Let me know if it's sharp pain. It should just be pressure.
Okay, so there's a catheter coming. It's just a little tube, okay? Mm-hmm. She's 36 years old. She's period 1011. She has a history of ovarian cancer on the right. She has only her left ovary and her uterus, but she has not been ruptured, so she's just here for repeat C-section and evaluation of her inter-abdominal area.
I would just like to introduce the team. Dr. Beanstalk is the attending, Dr. Winder and Dr. Wu. Dr. Tokioka is the anesthesia attending. I'm Naomi Cross. I'm the delivery nurse, and our tech today is Molly Burnish.
Knife, please. Knife.
Okay. Skin. 1020.
Scalpel, please. You guys ready? Yep.
Uterus. 1034. Clear fluid. go see your mama? You want to go see your mama? Okay. I'm going to give him to you.
After my cancer was diagnosed, I had what they call fertility sparing surgery. So naturally I can get pregnant, and I did, which is amazing. We had a planned C-section, and today we delivered my son.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Go team. What's up?
Thank you so much,
You're
Naomi.
so welcome.
Naomi, it was awesome. I'm like,
Oh
I wish
my
I could like
God.
super hug you,
I know.
but phenomenal. You guys were
Okay,
awesome today.
thank you.
Seriously.
East Kentucky weather.
From the WSIP Weather Center for this afternoon, mostly cloudy with a 30% chance of showers, highs in the low 40s. Tonight, cloudy, 40% chance of rain and snow showers, lows around 32. Cloudy on Tuesday, a 30% chance of rain and snow showers in the morning, highs will be in the mid-40s.
Working with my dad, who's a mechanic, is a family business. I spend a lot of long, hard hours in here. And of course, you know, we would argue over certain little things. Sometimes I would be a little too lenient with customers that owed stuff. I would actually slip out and use tires to people if I thought they were going to have a blowout, but they didn't have the money. I was always a helper, and you know, he was a businessman, so we would have disagreements about stuff like that. And I don't know what it is in me. I always went for that feeling of giving and helping. And through nursing, I actually found an even better way to do that. Working with people in their homes in the intimate setting. There's nothing more intimate than being in someone's home, especially at a time like this.
Yeah, but I can't.
They're more than just patients. They're lives. We're touching them. No matter how good I fixed a car, I never got that, you know. Never got it. But I get it now. Ready? There you go. Is that good? Thank you. Very good. All right. Just kind of relax. I'm going to flush it and make sure that it's working good. Getting ready to access you. And we're done. You want the covers? Yeah. Okay. Let's get that drink of water. Huh? Yeah, I'm gonna change your bed now. I didn't want to say it in front of him, but actually that change can be actually a bad thing. And I know, and it's easy to, you know, see something like that and think that, oh, that's good, that's changed. But usually when you have tumors growing in there and stuff, it's usually a kind of a really bad sign when something major changes like that, even if it seems to be for the better. But, you know, I didn't want to, you know, tear his hope down or anything. I just wanted to make you aware of that, because that's kind of where we come in. We see the overall picture. And I wouldn't feel right if I didn't bring you out here and tell you. But it's going to, you know, if it happens, it will be very dramatic.
What's your name?
Tanya Faust.
Okay, thank you.
I've been at Angola for 11 and a half to 12 years. It's about 2 years, pretty close to 2 years ago, that I became the hospice coordinator. When I was growing up, I was thinking I would never work in Angola because my mom worked here.
She called me, she says, Mom, I've got some good news. And I said, what? She said, I've been offered a job at Angola. I said, oh no. You know, my baby going to work at Angola. And I said, doing what? She said, well, being a nurse.
Well, growing up, Angola was your prime area of jobs that everyone's parents had. So many people that I went to school with, their parents already worked here. So it wasn't out of the norm.
When I first came to work at Angola, I was a tower guard. It was nerve-wracking because you were always thinking, what if this happens? What am I going to do? How am I going to handle that situation? Can I really shoot someone if they get over that fence? And the way I handled it was, I thought, well, if they get out, they're going to get to my children. And so I grew up around weapons up in North Louisiana, you know, hunting and stuff like this. So I'm a very good shot. I'm an excellent shot. I'm not to brag on myself, but at the firing range, I usually shoot better than most of the men. So I'm a good shot. Tanya's a good shot. She's a squirrel hunter, a deer hunter.
My initial thought was, you know, there's no way. I'm not going into an area where there's razor wire bars and, you know, thinking of a maximum prison area. It's not something you think you're going to really go into. Just had no desire to work around people that were hardened criminals, murderers, rapists, armed robbers, all these just horrific things. And, you know, and in my mind was they're just horrible people. They're here to rot, you know, and never see the light of day again. A lot of people ask me how I can take care of people that have committed such horrific crimes. And I know it probably seems odd to someone else, but to me, I look at it as you sort of put yourself in their spot, you know, of how they felt and what they went through, and it just gives you a completely different outlook on someone. I'm prepared to know that this guy that I'm talking to, I'm admitting him into something so I can to make him comfortable to let him pass away. Hey. So how did you sleep last night? Did you do okay? How'd you sleep last night?
All right.
Did you do all right?
Sleep.
Huh?
My name is Darrell Gerstenslager. I'm here on a first-degree murder charge. I shot my wife.
When Mr. Darrell first got into the hospice program, one thing that we ask all the patients is, you know, is there someone you want to get connected back to? Is there some desire that you have that you haven't been able to accomplish? And one of Mr. Darrell's first things he said was that he hadn't spoken to his daughter in 20 plus years. And it was one of those things that you do sort of worry about, you know, how is a family member, especially with that length of time being, you know, where they haven't had any communication, if they're going to be open to that. And now it's just amazing with that huge gap that they had. They talk, well, y'all talk twice a week now. And she writes him letters, and Mr. Darrell and I will sit down and then we write back to her and we send them.
She's helped me tremendously, especially with my relationship with my daughter. That's the most important thing to me now.
When I'm at their bedside, I'm taking care of just another human being. I don't look at their criminal rap sheet. I know they're in here for something. What exactly it is, 9 times out of 10, I don't want to know. They're here during their time, and I'm not here to judge them. I'm here just to take care of them.
The decision to go in the military was based on, you know, not a very big vision of what the world was like or how big the world was. My father served in the Air Force. Both of my grandfathers served in the Navy, both of them for a career. And my dad said, hey, he goes, the way I see it, you could either go to school or you could go in the military. And then his caveat after telling me that I could either go to school or I could go in the military was that I really wasn't ready for school. I lacked some of the discipline required for it, and he was never more right. I made a major life decision based on the fact that I was flirting with a girl that was 20 when I was 18. And I was flirting with this girl in an Army recruiter station, and I was like, oh yeah, this girl's gonna be a medic. I said, show me that medic video. Medic, I could do medic. Remember how I used to take care of my grandfather when I was a teenager? I could do that. They showed me a video, and it had this beautiful white ambulance and a big orange stripe and U.S. Army in little black letters. And these guys in whites came out with an ambulance with a gurney and you know, in front of an Army hospital. And I said, oh, I could do that. I'm totally good at that. I can drive and I can take care of people. Little did I know that I was going to end up in the jungle infantry, and I wasn't going to see one of those white ambulances for 3 years. First person I saw die was in Panama. As we were fighting the war on drugs that began during the Reagan administration, I was there in multiple countries teaching foreign militaries and foreign medics how to do things. And as that political crisis heated up, we did more and more semi-combat condition type training. There was a mortar accident, and a round blew up outside the cannon. 4 guys blew into 4 different directions, and I provided emergency care to all of them. The guy that was wounded the most was a sergeant. I was putting on occlusive dressings. I was, patching up all his wounds. I was taking care of his sucking chest wound. I was taking care of the traumatic amputation of his hand. I was taping an airway into what remained of his jaw, which was completely shattered. Skin was shredded, torn, and burnt, and there were just bone chips and fragments there. So it wasn't like training very much. Stand Down is a homeless veterans outreach. When you have a veteran who is living on the street, that doesn't make them any less of my family. Ranger? Is that you? Which bat? Second. Second bat? Thank you for your service, man. I'm Brian. I think what drives my dedication to these guys is all of the years of shared experience with them. There was no closer bond, there's no closer tie than that tie that's built by shared suffering, by being in the worst places, doing the worst things together all the time. guys and girls that were out there on the front line fighting for us, doing everything they could to ensure that our freedoms are maintained. It makes you just want to work harder. It makes you just want to be better in order to support them.
Hey, Grace, you want just a bite? Hurry up. No? Okay, fine. All right. When I was growing up, I always wanted to live on a farm. My cousins were on a dairy farm, and we'd go there, you know, during the summer, and I'd say, Dad, can't we move to a farm? Please, can't we move to a farm? Well, you know, no, we couldn't. All righty. Going to a Catholic school, many Catholic girls my age grew up thinking they would be a nun at one point or the other. Oh boy, okay. Through high school, I remember having a soft spot in my heart for older people. Never knowing that I was going to then join a convent or a religious life that was going to be taking care of old people. What? Oh my gosh.
And he's about 2 pounds when he was born.
Oh, it's just a baby.
It's just a baby.
Oh my. Such a pretty baby. We're very convinced and very committed to the fact that animal activities or animal therapy is very beneficial to young and old. Our residents feel unconditional love here. The animals love you, they don't care whether you have an odor or don't have an odor or got some soup down your shirt. It doesn't make any difference, you know, they don't judge you, they love you anyway. Oh dear, I better say my prayers first. Okay. Children are placed here from Fond du Lac County Social Services. We have a contract with them, and they're kids that some are in foster care, some are in their own homes. Almost all of them have some issues. We have dealt with autism, we have dealt with oppositional defiant behavior, we have bipolar behavior, sexual abuse. They're a week old today. Here, take one and show them. Hey, babes. The kids learn a sense of responsibility because there's more to just, you know, oh, I love animals. Yeah, well, now grab the shovel. We got to clean the pen. And they learn that they really can control their behaviors if they have to, because I've had kids that have been so hyper and then want to go in, for example, and take a llama for a walk. No, you cannot do that till you get your behavior under control, because, you know, the llama picks up on that, and they can do that. Let's see what we can find down here. That's it. We got visitors for you. You know what this is? It's an alpaca. The residents love it. It's home to them, and they don't feel like they're just stagnant. They see all of the life around.
We're in a 41.
A lot of worst nightmares for a mother would be to come into their ultrasound and for the doctor not to find a heartbeat. It's really hard for so many people to wrap their mind around. I've had mothers tell me that, how can death happen before birth? I'm usually the nurse that takes care of those patients. I'm able to go at their bedside, consult them, and discuss with them all the decisions that they have to make that they never prepared themselves for. I myself have had a loss. I had a miscarriage in my bed. I was by myself. It was so difficult and so hard. And I've had to deal with the guilt it comes with. I was so shocked, I think, at delivering in my bed, not realizing what was happening at the time until it happened, that I just took my little baby and wrapped him in a sheet and I threw him away in the trash. And I think it's been so long for me to try to figure out how to forgive myself for that. I think now, when I became a nurse, that was kind of put in the back of my mind. I think it was always there, but I didn't know, like, consciously that I was pulled into bereavement, perinatal bereavement nursing for that reason. I actually went to a conference and discovered that I had all these feelings that had been buried so deep, especially the guilt that that baby never had a proper burial. But at that conference, I was surrounded by other women and providers who were so compassionate, and they told me to name that baby, and I named him right then and there, and I named him Gabriel. And I think about him sometimes, and it just burned this fire in me to never ever want any other mother to be alone through this. In order to do this job, you have to have very supportive family and very supportive friends. It is a very demanding job.
Aww. Oh, thank you.
There's no way I could do this without my husband. He's pretty amazing.
Well, Naomi, from the first I met her, the first time I really talked to her, it just came out and said that, you know, that one of her big passions was nursing, and particularly her goal was to be a nurse at Johns Hopkins. I wasn't, you know, overly passionate about my job. It was a job, it was an interesting job. I felt that I did do good work. But for Naomi, it was such a passion, such a calling, that I felt that she really needed to be able to pursue that. And for me, being able to help her on that path was kind of a no-brainer.
Okay.
All right, have a great day.
Okay, you too. I love you.
People that work in this profession, they can't go to their friends and discuss their, you know, their day, because most of their friends are just like, whoa, 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 whoa. You know, I don't want to hear about that. That's too much. Most people do not want to deal with the, you know, a lot of things that happen. Sometimes it's a loss or something that goes horribly awry, and that's something that you're looking at, that your spouse had to deal with, and they need somebody to let that out to vent to, and you're the person, and you have to take it. But it's difficult to see somebody in pain, you know, and it's difficult sometimes to take that pain onto yourself.
I just always have to go in there knowing that I don't know what to expect, that I have to be prepared for whatever comes down the pike. It's my job and my responsibility to my patient. No matter what, I have to give her the best care. The baby's heart rate went down a little bit before, so a lot of times it's just because maybe the baby's pressing on its umbilical cord.
So sometimes I'll give you oxygen in your mask to make more available for the baby. Okay, so I just don't want you to be scared. Okay. So is this a boy or a girl? It's a girl. What's her name?
This is where I grew up till I was about 12 years old. My sisters must have put a lock on the door. But as they know, I'll find a way around it. Wow. Yeah, this house needs to be torn down. I was kind of a hyper child, and I was always into stuff, and I didn't behave real well. You punish me one way, and then I would do something else. I was just unruly. I would miss a lot of school. I had really bad grades, and I didn't care in high school. All I wanted to do is just hang out and have a good time, and I really didn't care. And I didn't see the point in it. You know, I thought, oh, shoot, I can get out here and, you know, make good money and some kind of business of my own. I actually run into people today that are like, you're a nurse? You know, I don't know if they thought I was going to be in prison or what, but now, 18 was a difficult year for me. I had a really bad motorcycle accident. Had a head-on collision, and I was in a wheelchair for a long time, pretty much the rest of that year, you know. And I knew what it was like. Sorry, what am I doing? I found out what it's like to need care, you know, to be helpless, and it wasn't good. And, you know, I think that's what helps me be so compassionate for these people that are in this condition, is I've been there, and man, it sucks. Nursing was the big thing on the campus that I went to, but I just kind of dismissed it. You know, I'm a guy, you know, I'm supposed to be macho. I didn't realize what nursing was, so I kind of just brushed it off, but it planted that little seed in the back of my mind. I think the first time I went to college, that might be something I'd like to do. I did truck driving. That was the first thing I tried. I didn't really fit in to the truck driving mold. I was a good, you know, truck driver, but I was just working for a company. I wasn't doing any good for anybody. That's when I actually decided to set my sights on a specific goal, which was nursing. Fixing cars, there are a lot of similarities. Even when I was sitting in anatomy class and, you know, we were studying the blood vessels, or we were, you know, just studying gross anatomy, I was like, I could relate to it because the things I'd learned as an auto mechanic is interesting. You know, the radiator hose, I kind of thought of as the circulatory system, and the water pump was the heart, you know. When I first became a nurse, I got this call and they said, your dad's down in the ER. He had gallbladder cancer. By the time they figured out what it was too late. Nothing we could do. So we kind of went from hospital to hospital to hospital, just basically in a panic, not knowing what to do because everything was happening so fast. And, you know, the medical community, as soon as they seen his age, which was 70, which is actually young, but there's a doctor that says, well, he's 70 years old, you know, and let it go. He went from working to gone in 2 weeks. Felt like he was kind of abandoned by the traditional hospital setting. And through that whole process, it really, really changed the way I view healthcare. I kind of felt like maybe I need to, you know, get into the homes and the intimate setting.
Did Lafayette come in yet?
Hospital Sarge, Valor. How you doing, Lou?
All right, how you doing?
All right, sir.
All right, me and Lafayette gonna take care of him. Yeah, put your head up this way. Lafayette Ballard is one of my hospice volunteers. He just amazes me. Did you ever see it before?
No,
His
it
foot
looked
before?
like, just like Wichita when we was over there.
Yeah, they said,
Just
what
like-
was it, Wilmer's
Wilmer,
before? That's what
yeah.
I've heard it looked
You
like.
can see
And
Wilmer bone through here.
that's what somebody said, that it looked just like his. Now, I didn't see Wilmer's whenever it first got. I didn't get me a red bag.
It
Can
was
you
raw.
Get a red bag, Lafayette? We give our hospice volunteers an educational process that's about 40 hours of education time, body mechanics, assisted daily living activities, show them through the grief and dying process. Once we see that they're where they should be, then they become the trained volunteer and they're on their own.
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
Did you? They're in this program because they're able to see that what they do makes a huge difference. You speak to any of them, they're going to tell you in a minute. They know they've done horrible crimes. They know that they've done things that, you know, they're in here for, and they know that they need to be in here for it. But they want to give back. They want to give back to society and try to make amends for things they've done in their life, and they want to feel better about themselves, and it's a healing process for them as well. In the past 2 years that I've worked, Lafayette is definitely one that is a major go-getter. He's there checking on all of the hospice patients, and then when you look over, he's emptying urinals, helping with a bed bath, helping the nurses turn the patients, changing bed linens.
I didn't think I could do it, but once I started, man, just like it took a part of me. And I'm not right, listen, I come over here. And I try to come over here every day I can. If it's not just to look at one of them and let them know, hey, I come over here. If you need anything, I'm here. If you don't, I'll see you tomorrow. Bob, I'm checking in back from the hospital, Mr. Turner. Hospital? Yes, sir, hospital, sir. See, Angola saved me because I live a treacherous life on the street. I mean, a treacherous life. And I didn't care about life itself. I played with death. Fighting, shooting, running with the wrong people, being with the wrong kind of people. I had 7 friends, it was 7 of us all together. When I was out there in the streets acting crazy, all of them dead, all but one. Guess who that is? Me. That's right. By the grace of God, I'm still here. You know, everybody look at prison as being harsh and abusive, but it's not. It's getting a second chance at life. Because things you did in your past, you can't undo, but you can better yourself as you go along. And it's just a journey here. It's a big old university, that you learn everything about. You with people of all walks of life. Just like John, he can't do nothing. He can't even stand up. And he want to shower, and he can't on his own. So I come over here personally just to shower him. See, he's not a hospice patient. He just live on a ward. But I want to show him that I care about him just like I do the patient. You pray for me? That's good. I pray for you too. Yeah.
These grown, huge men are sitting there at someone's bedside, and they're feeding them ice cream, telling them jokes, talking to them, reading books to them.
No one else sees this, so they don't, they can't fathom that. They see, fights in a prison, and just everyone is still so horrific. They don't see that compassionate side that a lot of these guys end up working their way to.
Air evacuation. That's what I did when I was stationed here in Lunchdoll, is air evacuation.
Prepare to lift. Lift. All right, you're good to go. Back there. This way.
While I was here, the Iraqi conflict was at an apex. Something called the Battle of Fallujah was raging. The casualties were guys who were very young with multiple kinds of injuries, traumatic brain injuries, traumatic amputations. There's kids, they had just woken up from being in a coma or from sedation, and you'd pull a tube out of their throat, and one of the first things they would say to you, laying there missing limbs, is, "When can I go back?" And if something happens to you inside when you hear that, I mean, you love them tremendously at that moment, but you also want to say, no, you ain't going anywhere, because you've already given enough, brother. Once you make it here, you have a much higher percentage chance of making it, period. Part of the reason why the guys that come here aren't prepared for what's in front of them when they get injured is because we train them to be invincible. And then we aim them, we point them at the enemy, and frequently you find out right at that moment that you're not invincible. Your body shattering is one way you find out, and that possibly your days could be numbered as well. Coming off of active duty and working in the VA hospital in San Diego with veterans from World War II, Korea and Vietnam conflicts, even a few from Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm, also gave me some perspective. For this young soldier, after they get injured, what does it look like when they get back home? What do they have in front of them?
Take a moment to review the list to determine which things are absolute priorities that you want to keep in your life, the things you highly value, the things that bring joy, satisfaction, or meaning into your life. and circle those.
I'm working with these guys many months and many years after their traumatic injuries. Sometimes they're still struggling with the post-traumatic stress.
Yeah, so here's the truck I did up in LA. Operation Iraqi Freedom and then Operation Enduring Freedom. Remember I was telling you I wanted to do something when I got back. I have a lot of problems with survivor's guilt.
I think it's beautiful.
And I did the tats first. I did the one on my calves. And you know what? People see it, but I wanted more. So I came up with this in memory of the fallen for this side of the truck. And then on this one, I just put in memory of those who gave their all. You know, I gave some, but they gave their all. I was in Iraq in 2006, got medevaced out. When I came out of surgery and the lady put a quilt over me, it's because welcome home, son. I was like, I was just, you know, you just like, I'm alive, and a lot of my friends didn't make it back, and a lot of people just, so I said, you know, I got to give. I have really bad survivor skills. I can't let people forget. And then I found on the website, there was a website, they had everybody's pictures that Iraq and Afghanistan that lost their lives, and I came upon that, and I said I want the American flag over them.
It's beautiful.
Here it is.
I like it. I like that.
So I see my friends. I'm always with my friends. They're always with me.
The kind of work that you do as a nurse can be intense.
I was blown up, caused a traumatic brain injury.
I've lived out of a suitcase for 2 years. I've had a really rough time maintaining my relationships as a result of that. I've had to let go of a lot of things that I may not have had to let go of if it wouldn't have been for this lifestyle. And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you look back and there's some regret. You know, like, what if I just would have done, you know, less somewhere else, maybe less at work, or less, maybe, what if I would have, you know, backed off from being who I am, is what it's what it's basically boils down to. Is like, I would have to be less of, it sometimes feels like I would have to be less of a nurse or less of a soldier to maintain a relationship. And so far, I've chosen to be a nurse and a soldier.
We who have the precious treasure of faith have a grave responsibility. It is not enough to be satisfied with mere property.
In high school, I thought, I don't want anybody thinking that I am going to be a nun. I can remember thinking that very specifically. So we would just do little things like, I remember one time we greased the toilets in the nun's bathroom, and you know, one of us was looking out, and the other one would go in there and do that. Another time we took food coloring, put it in the holy water fountain, where when the nun would come in, so she'd see that and get it, but she always was a little bit smarter. Just anything that would be kind of fun, but to get people thinking, no, she's not going to join the religious life. My family, from both mom and dad, we were often challenged to, what can you do to help other people? Also, taking people in and not being judgmental. I'm sure that I received that from mom and dad.
All right, now let's see your blood pressure, see if that's still holding.
You know, we talked about together how we could make the world a better place, how we could help. So it was just that environment, I think, and that was getting stronger and stronger as the years went on in high school, and I knew that I'd have to make some kind of a decision. I really did begin to think it was, you know, God was really calling me. Hey, Florence.
Hi.
Hi. They told me you're not feeling good.
No, I don't feel good.
You don't? What's the matter? Huh?
Just in the whole body.
Yeah. Let me just check your pulse here. I worked for several years as a nursing assistant. I had no intention on to go on to school. And we had a couple they were a resident here, and when they passed away, they wanted to do something in the form of a living memorial. They wanted to send a sister through nursing school. So I got asked. Hi, Orville.
Hi.
I remember the first day I went to school, and it was a chemistry class. I came out crying. I hadn't the faintest idea what the man was talking about. Hi. And then every time I had a test, I would tell our residents, and they'd pray, pray, pray. They'd pray the rosary. I got straight A's in chemistry. So I thought, okay, I can do this. My dad came to Villaretto when he was 61. He was diagnosed at a very young age with Alzheimer's. When he would hallucinate, it was just ugly. He would think he saw things, and he would get on the couch and he'd try to kick the windows out, and it was really just so sad. When my dad got to the point where he had deteriorated physically, he had an episode where he had gotten very sick. He had high fever, and it really looked like death was imminent. Of course, we had to call the doctor, and the nurse came and said to me, "The doctor wants to order all of these antibiotics. What do you want to do?" And I said, I can still remember the nurse. It was one of my dear nurses that still works here. I said, "Annie, I don't know what to do." And she said, "Well, what would you tell other people to do?" And I said, I would tell them not to go ahead and do that. And so that's what we did. And I said, the thing is, we want to just keep them comfortable. But they helped me with that, those nurses. And that's what I'd like to be for other people too, because you see the pain that they're going through. When you're so involved and it's your own family member, I know how it is to make a decision. And you need someone there to say, yes, you are doing the right thing, or these are some things we can try. Many times it's like, asking the question, what would they say? What would this person want? What have they told you in the past? And, many times we're able to walk through, but it's tough. Turn them down, okay. I'm just... Did we do okay? Huh?
Yeah.
Did you like it? Did you hear the guys' voices this time?
Yeah.
Did ya? They weren't able to come last time.
Yeah.
Did you hear the story I told about you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Love you. Okay? Gotta go away for the day, but I'll come back in tonight. Otherwise, if Jesus is calling you, you go, okay? You go right home to Jesus, okay? Right. See you later. Okay. Alrighty.
Hi. Oh, it smells so good in here. Hi.
For Naomi, her family is very important to her. And when you have a child, it makes it even more important to try to keep that focus on your family and the things that, are good.
We're on page 20. So
Okay.
I'll show you how this works.
Oh,
My
yeah.
mom's pretty awesome. She's very confident and she makes me confident a lot too. I really like the idea that she saves lives and helps create new ones.
Laboring is such a special time for a woman. The work that it takes to birth a baby and to birth life, I believe it's a miracle. We put so much stock into who's responsible for the children of our communities and of our society. A mom can bond with her child, she will protect him more and make better decisions. And that is the core of communities. That's the core of our society. And this is the best part of my day. Are you ready, mister?
Yeah, good job, buddy.
How's Mary doing? What's going on? What's she done with her pain medicine? Has she made any adjustments or anything? Well, she needs another dose of it then. Give her another dose and I'll be out. In a rural area, Appalachian region, we go through a lot to get to patients' homes. There are places that an ambulance can't even get. My heart's going 112 beats a minute. How long ago did you say you had the rocks and all?
18, 16.
We may have to give you another dose even shorter than 4 hours, because I can definitely tell, you know, with that kind of heart rate, that you've got something going on. We like to go in, make sure that they're doing their treatments. A lot of these families, they don't have the means or you know, vehicle-wise or financially to get supplies to even dress their wounds. And it's at a time when they're, you know, there's complete chaos in their home. But this is their crisis that we're there for them. We're there to help them through their crisis. And this is a one-time deal for them. Seems like you're kind of obstructed there. There we go. Yeah, something's going on. Her heart rate's higher, you know, and it could be just from the pain, or there could be something a lot more serious going on. But it worries me about what is blocking something, since we're dealing with colon cancer.
But how can I find out if, you know, them reach worse or what?
You're gonna call us, and we'll come out.
Okay.
They will work. She may be dying. She may be terminal. But she had a problem. And, you know, hopefully I fixed that. And, you know, hopefully the remainder of her life is going to be somehow better.
Lafayette, can you
Yes,
help
ma'am.
me? We're gonna do that leg,
Lift
please,
the
guys.
heel? Yes,
Yeah, the heel. And if you'll just help me hold
Yes,
it up,
ma'am.
I'll be.
Yes, ma'am.
Wilmer.
Morning,
Good
morning.
morning. How are you doing, Wilmer? Look.
Come to take care of your legs.
Yeah,
Change
gonna
the bandage.
take care of that leg, okay? I've never been at the end of life care. How you feeling? It's chilly in here. It was something that I really wasn't sure if I was emotionally capable of doing.
And you're spending up to 6 months with one of our hospice patients, and you make that rapport and that friendship, and then they pass away. It's really hard because you get so attached to people. They become like your family. That's one thing that those volunteers say constantly is, a family member has passed and I just can't do this. I can't do it again. Because once one of our patients, hospice patients, passes away, his 6 volunteers are the ones that go into the room, clean him up, and take care of him. They'll tell you it changes their life because they know at some point, it being that most of these guys are lifers, their chances of being in that bed are highly likely. So they feel like they're giving back, and they know that they could potentially be there at some point. There's a purpose for me here. It's to help someone else get to a point where they're able to let go and not suffer anymore.
I have a question. I have a guy named Wallace Benamy who's getting
working in rehab, knowing what a lot of these kids had in front of them, it's not a hard extrapolation to say this person is going to be disabled the rest of their life. They're going to need help the rest of their life. Those situations where you have those people that are going to be taking care of you, that's not, 3 months, 5 months, like someone who breaks a leg. That's 30, 40, 50, 60 years of somebody having to help you. And I'm not in any way, shape, or form suggesting that these people have no quality of life or anything, because many of these people rate their quality of life higher than I rate my own quality of life. But what I'm suggesting is that it's a long road. And while they may not suffer every day for 60 years, they certainly will suffer adjusting to their new life.
How's today?
Yeah. I was injured in 2007 on combat patrol in Iraq. I had about 2 or 3 weeks left of the deployment. The deployment was about 15 months long. It was one of the last missions. The helicopters dropped us off in a village. I'm squad leader, so I was taking control of my man. We took cover, took a knee in a good position, and unfortunately the spot where I took a knee at was a set IED. And so when I stood up, it went off, and that's when I lost my leg. I actually woke up in Walter Reed here in the States. My wife was there, and that was the first voice that I remember hearing.
It was scary. You're not trained or to do any of this. Everything's unexpected.
To be in a wheelchair or to wake up in a hospital bed and my leg is missing, my arm is gone, and I have to hop into the shower. I wake up every morning and I'm handicapped. It blows my mind sometimes that you can go from being so strong of a person to being so handicapped. And it was just a lot for me to deal with. And I didn't think that it was until I started seeing like small reflections of my problem reflecting off of everyone else.
You're aware of the respite, you know that you have the ability for us to send.
There's a profound difference between Brian coming into our home and just having a regular nurse come into the home. Brian was in the Army. He knows people, how they are, and he's an Army guy. So I mean, he knows where I'm coming from. He's been to combat. He knows a problem when he sees it.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is.
I know why it is, because you're not up. When you're not up, you're not out either. It's positive motion equals positive emotion as well. And if you're down, you need more too sometimes.
It's been more of a relationship than work, I guess. You know,
The logical thing there is
being able to have that relationship with the guys that you call brother. It's good for your heart. There's a lot to look forward to with my family, my children, my wife. To have the opportunity for them to grow up with me, having these handicaps and disabilities, it's normal to them, and so now it's great because they don't see the disabilities in me; they just see their dad.
Taking care of people who were just heroes. They were standing on a battlefield and they were super heroic, and now they're vulnerable. You have to strike a balance between honoring what they were and giving them what they deserve now. You have to strike a balance between recognizing the things you have in common about serving and realizing that they can no longer serve in that capacity. The military is a huge part of the man that I have become. You know, I was a boy before I went in the military, and I became a man in the military, and it's just who I am. And it'll be who I am even after I hang that uniform up, but that may be part of why I'm so devout to it. Same with nursing. It'll be part of my identity forever. I mean, even if I go do something completely different, I may become an entrepreneur or something like that, but I'll be an entrepreneur with a nursing background. I'll be whoever I am with a nursing background, and that'll be important no matter what I do.
But these these are the upper respiratory infections, right?
Yeah, is that everybody?
Let's see, we got Roy, Gibby, Martha. She was. Okay, do we have a neb treatment for her then? We do, okay, good. We really find and we hear a lot from people in the community how important the villas of the Holy Land are to the life of the community. Because of the nature of long-term care now, the fact that we could be a standalone facility for very long is not probably very realistic. Nothing stays small anymore. Our farmers all around us are mega farmers. One small business is bought up by another, and the same thing is happening in healthcare and long-term care. All righty. I'll hold on to your hand. You what? You never were in this room before?
I think what we'll do, Hunter, is we'll take that beanbag.
Even if we have to become part of another healthcare group,
Very good.
my dream is that this work will continue on. That we can benefit the people that come to visit, as well as our staff, our residents, our families, and the kids that are involved here.
You want to hold him?
Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
Okay. There you go. All right. We have to see what else we can do to get you better. Oh, just relax. In Scripture, it says, when we're generous to God, He will give back to us the measure pressed down and overflowing. And that is what I experience in my life.